Hello, hello. This is Donna, and this is Stamping with Moo. And I am doing the third card in my Daisy Lane series. And I'll show you the first couple I did. Oops, maybe not that one. Okay, this is first one I made, and I had just done that. And I looked at that and I thought, oh my gosh, that just kind of looks like a sympathy card. So I added from the Path of Petals, Sharing in Your Sorrow, and then I added on the inside, hoping that you can find strength for today and peace in tomorrow, which is a very sweet, oops, I'll have to fix that one with a glue dot. Okay, and then the second one I did was a thank you card, and I'll probably be sending some of these out to my customers when they make a purchase with us. And I just stamped the daisy on the inside, and I did some vellum, and we're kind of going to do a variation of both. As you can see on this one, I used the leaf punch, and this one I used the sprig punch. This one has some vellum, and let's get started. Okay, the star of the show today is the Daisy Lane, and we're going to be using this punch, or this stamp, along with the corresponding punch that is sold as a bundle. And then the large one, we're just going to punch out in the large daisy punch that's been out for a while. And I think this is from the Delightful Daisy. And we're just going to punch these out in vellum. We're going to have some copper elements. So we need a scrap of vellum, some copper, some vanilla, very vanilla scraps to do our sentiment and flowers on. Also, I'm going to be using from the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper. I believe this is the specialty paper. This kind of looks like burlap or linen or something, but anyway, some of these, and these are just absolutely gorgeous papers. Just pressed petals. I love this one, and it's got that beautiful wood, and I had considered using the wood for this card that we're doing today, but I went with this instead. Alright, and here you can just kind of cut these out, put them on a card base, and dress it up as much or as little as you want. It has some musical notes on it on the back side. That's the one we're using. I love this one. I love that blueberry bushel. I may have to do a 3D project with that. I think that would lend itself well. And on the back, yeah, on the back we have these vintage, kind of looks like a newspaper or something, but very pretty. And then this one, I think that's one of my favorites in this series here. These pressed petals, and then it has the pink script on the back. Anyway, enough about that. All right, I have my standard card base, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And we're gonna fold and burnish that. Oops. Maybe. And I have my bone folder. I'll just get that all nice and crisp. All right, I'll set that aside for now. What we're going to do, I'm going to bring that back, and with a piece of scratch paper here, I have a piece of sponge, and I'm going to be using, oops, soft suede for this part of it. And I'm going to come over about, I probably want to come over about up to 3 inches here. And I'm going to kind of sponge that off a little bit and bring this over. Kind of wanted to have just a, kind of reminds me of smoke a little bit, I think. But just enough to have that. Okay, and then this DSP that I cut, it's 1.5 inches wide, and it's just gonna fit right on there. So that's about 5.5 inches right there. So, and I'm gonna use a little bit of snail with this. And let me get those out of the way. I want to see if I've come over and filled that up enough. I think so. I think so. All right, we're just going to run some snail on this. And then we're going to line this up and turn it towards me. All right, and just line that up. Okay. And did a pretty good job. Just a little bit hanging over there. So I'll just take my snips and just kind of, just a whisper, you know, a little tiny bit there. And just a hair on here. There we go. That takes care of that. All right, let's close that up. Okay. Oh, I didn't say, we're getting our sentiment. Hello, a little hello from the Itty Bitty Greetings. This is a fantastic stamp set. It's 2 pieces, as you can see. There's 32 stamps, and I think there's probably just about a sentiment for anything you could think of. So it's a very good item to have in your craft stash of things. All right, I'm going to bring in my scrap paper here, and I've already gone ahead and mounted my stamps. And this I'm doing in Crumb Cake, and I want to stamp off a little bit because that doesn't look. Okay, and then we're going to stamp there. I'll do the same thing. I'm doing 3rd generation on this because I just didn't want it to be too dark. And I just put my thumb in it. All right. So, well, we're not done with that, so we'll keep that. Sorry, I gotta wipe my thumb or I'll have ink everywhere on my project. All right. Sorry about the rustling. All right, so I'm going to come in with my medium daisy punch that's part of the bundle and punch these out. There's quite a few punches in this with this card today, but gotta love our punches. They're just so easy to use, so handy. Because sometimes you just don't want to, you know, pull out your Big Shot or your die cutting machine, whatever you have. All right, and then with our large daisy punch, as long as we're punching, I'm going to do my vellum. And this is just a scrap piece of vellum that I had. And I'm going to punch 2 of those out. All right. Okay, we're done with this punch. Oops. And the other punch. Okay. Now, I want to punch 3 of these leaf punches. Okay. 3. Alrighty. And I'm done with that punch. Okay, I'm going to bring in my piercing pad, and I've just wrapped it with some grid paper here. So, and I'm going to take my take your pick tool, and I'm using the larger stylus end, And I'm going to turn my leaves over. Because these are foil, I don't want to really work them too hard because I don't want to damage the foil. But I just kind of want to run a line down each leaf, just kind of to mimic a vein. And I hope you can see that where it's got the little veins there. Okay, I'm going to do that to all 3 of these. And that one. And that one. All right. So let me set these aside over here. I'm going to take the daisies that I stamped, turn them over, and I'm just going to run this tool right through the center, catching all of the leaves. I want some dimension on these leaves, but I don't want it to be a whole lot. That's actually a little more than I wanted, but it'll be just fine. All right. And we're just gonna... And actually this card comes together pretty quick once you figure out what you're doing here. Okay, and then I'm just going to take a glue dot and put it on that, and then offset it onto this one to make it look fuller. Okay, then I'm going to take my stylus again and just kind of press down there. And that just gives it some dimension without being over the top. Okay, and now I'm going, oops, dropped it on the floor. Some days I think I need to start on the floor and work my way up. Do you ever have days like that when everything just ends up on the floor? My goodness. Okay, I'm going to take my Vellum larger daisy, and I'm going to do the same thing with that as I did with the small one, and just offset it somewhat. Okay, and then I'm going to take these and just set those with a glue dot and just set that right back up on top there. Okay, and that's the flowers that we have. And I think I can get rid of that. Okay, on the next, I have this copper trim ribbon that's in the catalog, and this is really kind of fun stuff. You could use it just like that as a trim, but this one, you can pull it apart, and it kind of looks like netting. Well, it is netting, but call it what it is, Donna. Okay, but I thought, you know what, this will be really pretty on the new stamp set Sail Away with the nautical themes. I thought that would look really pretty on this. I think Stampin' Up! Needs to bring this out in gold and silver, maybe. I know, we're never happy. Just never, ever happy. Now, I could have cut this before, but I don't want to waste it. And I only need a little bit to go across there. So, maybe that much, maybe? Okay. And then we'll just cut that off right about there. And then I'm going to take my snail. Oh, before I do that, I almost forgot. With a Stampin' Right marker, and this is soft suede, I want to kind of spritz this with my marker. So, and I don't need it on my DSP, but, and this is very easy. You just take your cap and go, like the sound effects. Yeah, that's probably enough. Doesn't need to, it's fun to do, so it's easy to overdo it, I think. But then I'm going to take my snail, And probably about a third down, I'm going to run a whole bunch of snail right there. Take my copper ribbon, just kind of set that over there like that. Now my leaves, let me bring this in. Maybe I'll run some snail on the back of this. And just take my leaves a little bit and put one maybe up there. Oops. Right there. And the other one maybe right there. And then we'll put this, I'm going to put that on a dimensional. And just one's enough. Oops. And I kind of want that right there. Now in the Pressed Petals suite, there's these, they're called designer elements. And I'm going to take one of these copper ones. There's copper, silver, and gold. And we'll pull this one out. And I'm going to put this right in the center of my daisy. Okay. Then we're going to take a, from the Itty Bitty Greetings, we have a little hello, and I'm going to stamp that in the Crumb Cake also. Right under my nose. I know you're going, and Donna, it's right there. Okay. Now I'm going to stamp that right about, oops, well, not that one. Now let me clean that up a little bit. And a little bit more, there we go. Right there. And close that up. Now I'm taking my classic label punch, and I'm going to punch that out. I'm moving it over more towards the left. And I'm going to get it in there straight. Okay. And then I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. And I'm going to, now, let's go this way. Okay, we're just going to line that up and punch that. Oh, 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 oh. I did one in advance. How did I know? Okay. Anyway, what we're going to do is, out of this copper foil, we're going to punch one out. And then we're going to back this one up just a little bit. And now I could stick this back in the punch, but you saw how much luck I had with that. So I'm going to snip some of that off and then figure out how much I actually need. Let's see. Let's just cut that little bit off there. Okay, and then I'm going to take, there it is, throw that away. Well, what do you know? Which is the right one? That one looks straight. That one's bent. Okay, this is my back. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of snail there. And A little bit of snail there. And then we're just going to put these just so they're sticking out a little bit. We just want a little flash to catch your eye on this. And yeah, I think that's good. Then I'm going to take my mini dimensionals and put those on the back. Oops. There. Oops. Come on, get back up there. There we go. And then we're just going to put this down here. It's a little hello, so we don't want it, you know, prominent, I guess, is what I'm thinking of. And that is my card. Pretty simple. I think it's kind of impressive. I think we could take, maybe cut that a little bit. Okay. Let me bring back in my other samples. Okay. There was the thank you. And this was the sympathy card. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. I'd like to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ding that little bell and you'll get a notification whenever I come back on with another tutorial. I have one more in this Daisy series, and then I'm going to move on to the Very Versailles stamp set. And I think it's just a nice one to do. All right. So I hope you all have a great day. Bye.